So, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Yes. So, in this class, we'll study the structure of a string. The string is basically defined in a C programming language as a sequence of characters. So, mostly the data types that we are handling in C programming language are integer or character or float, etc. But we do not have any defined data type, or we do not have any compiler defined data type for handling a sequence of characters. The sequence of characters are very much important when we try to capture the name of a student or the roll number of the students, etc. But what we can do, we can use the array, the concept of array, for handling this type of data, which is basically a sequence of characters and that has some significant meaning. So we call this structure as a string, and the example of strings are something like this. It can be a simple sequence of characters with some white space. It can also be an alphanumeric things, and it may be different types of characters you can store in an array, and then that array can be treated as a string. So when we are trying to define a string, we basically consider ourselves that we have a character array, and this character array has some sequence of characters, and there is a delimiter. Delimiter is called the null character or null element, and this delimiter signifies that this is the end of the string. So if we have a hello as a string, if we want to represent hello, HELLO, as a string, then we will store these five characters in a sequence, and then we terminate the sequence with a null character, and this null character is called the delimiter of the string. So whenever there is a string, then every string is terminated by a null character, and this null character is basically a ASCII value of 0. Okay, so it represents something like this. We have a character array, say st string, and then there may be some size, and now this string array, it is the base address of this array, and we have HELLO, and then there is a null character, and there may be some unused cell which remains in the array, because this is the size of array 10, and we have only occupied 6 cells, so remaining cells remain unused. But that is, we do not bother about that. We only bother about that about the concept that what is the starting address of this array, that is the beginning of the string, and where the delimiter appears, that is basically the termination of the string. So the start address is the beginning of a string, and the null character is the end of string. Okay. And within this start address and the null character, you can put any alphanumeric symbols in this string, and that can be considered as a sequence of character or a string in C programming language. Understand? Okay. So what we understand is that I have a array where some characters are stored. Then there will be an address which is pointing to the starting point of the string, and we will look into the sequence of characters unless we are encountering a null character. That is basically the interpretation of a string in C programming language. Okay. Now this is basically how we declare the string. So declaration of the string is sometimes in different way. So as the string is uh, specified, or the string is basically marked as a start address, then we do have two different types of declaration. One is using an array, using a character array, or using a character pointer, or pointer to a character, pointer to a character. So there are two ways to represent a string. Either you can represent the string, or you can declare a string using an array, or you can also declare a string using a pointer to a character. Okay. The first definition, the first declaration says that I declare a character array of size 10, and then I am assigning a string to this variable name. Okay. So look into the right hand side of this declaration. This is basically the declaration of a string. Means I can make a constant string by declaring something like this. Within a double quote, whatever I have written is now stored into the array name as the name as this name. Okay. So the compiler, what it does, it will first creates an array of size 10. Then in this array, the base address, it will store J. Thus, following the address, it will store A, and in this way, January will be stored. And at the end of these things, it will put a null. Okay. So this double quote, anything that we write within the double quote is now considered as a string. Like if we, for example, if we write these things, say integer A equals to 10, that means I am assigning a constant to a variable. Okay. So this is the assignment statement where a constant value of 10 is assigned to a variable A. Similarly, these things, character name 10, say January. What it does, I am assigning a constant string to an address. Okay. So the two definitions, these two definitions are equivalent. Only their data types are different, their interpretations are different. Understand? Do you get this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So once I have declared these things, and this is the configuration of in my memory, that I have a base address with the name, and then in the base address I have a character J followed by A, and we have a termination of a null. Okay. Now I can able to process this string. Say if I want to if I want to make all the lowercase to a uppercase, what I have to do, I have to move to the name plus 1, means I have to move, I can address the second element, and I can also process the second element. Okay. So write name, where I have make J A N, something like this. Now name 0 indicates the element or character J. Similarly, name 1 indicates the character A, and I can also process these things. I can get access of this cell, and I can update the cell by different values. Okay. So in this way, string are basically processed. the string is not a data type, so we don't have any specific operator on this data. Yeah. So string is basically an array or array which has having some interpretation. It has a base address and the termination. So if I want to process the string, I have to get hold of the cells where the elements are there. So we don't have any operations on the string, but we can do the operations over the string by writing some programs. The programs are basically accessing the element in the cell and updating the elements in the cell. Okay. So in this slide, what we get that the elements in the string can be accessed by the index operation, and the total string or the reference of the total string can be accessed by the base address. Clear? Understand? Do you get this point? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now take a simple exercise like something like this. Say I have a string like J, A, N, U, A, R, whatever the part, Y, and null. And now base address is pointing here. Okay, and I update the base address, and I now moving to the base address. Okay, like something like this, CHAR name 10, and I get 11. Okay. Now I have a character pointer, say str, something like this, and I assign str with the base address of name 1. What is the meaning of these things? Base address is pointing to this to the element J. Now the address of name 1, so that base address is now assigned to the str. Okay, understand? So the effect of these things is something like this. str is now pointing to the base address of the second element. Okay, understand? Do you get this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
So
it
now,
will be name 1 or name 0.
The name 0 is the name itself, but I want to pointing str to starting from A. Understand?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. So now the two things are different. If I refer name, then it will referring to a string which is January. Okay. If I refer to str, then it is referring to a string which is something like this. Understand? It does not contain January because the base address is pointing to this, pointing from A, and it will interpret the string until it counts a null. Okay. Whereas name is pointing to the element J, and it will continue considering the string until it is finding a null. Understand? Get it? So str is representing the string. The string, say A, J, A, N, U, A, R, Y, this string. Whereas name is representing the string which is January. Okay, do you understand this point? So whenever we are referring a string, we basically specify the starting address. Yeah, we do not specify where is the null is appearing. We just specify the starting address. Then the compiler or the programmer interpret these things that this is the starting point of the string, and it will continue unless they find a null. Okay.
স্যার বলছি যে পয়েন্টারের সঙ্গে গোলালো স্টার এসটিআরটা
একটু পরে আমি বলছি, হ্যাঁ, just a minute, you hold on, it will be clear. Okay, now see the two types of declarations. The two types of declarations are equivalent in the sense that what is the basic concept of a string? The basic concept of the string is that you have a base address. You must have an address which represents the starting point of the string. Okay? And rest of these things is also consider that it will terminate up to a null. So the thing is the main declaration or the main concept for declaring a string is that I must have a pointer. I must have an address. Okay, so address can be either captured by this array, or address can be either captured by a pointer. Okay, so the two declaration, like I declared name1 as an array, and then I assign the January to this array, is basically the meaning of these things is that first I create an array of size 10, then I fill the array with the alphabets in the string. Okay, yeah. So the first operation, what it does, it creates the array. So first creates the array of size 10, and then it assigns the string. Okay, so that is character name 110 January. Okay, so in the second case, we have character pointer, say name 2, which is January. Okay. So what is the meaning of this thing? The meaning says that it first creates the string. In the memory, it allocates a position for JANUARY and a null. Compiler allocates a position in my memory, and then this base address is assigned to the variable str. Okay, so the second case says that the second declaration, the January string is created at some memory location as a read only. We will come what is the meaning of read only, and then the base address is assigned to the pointer name 2. Okay, the previous one is that the array is created first, so the memory is available for the programmer for the program, and then the alphabets are filled into these locations. The second says that the constant string is created first, then the base address is returned to the variable. Okay, understand?
Sir, here the array is also created, right? In the second case, second declaration.
No, there is no array. We don't have the concept of array. We only have the variable as a pointer. Yeah. The sequence of locations are created in the memory. Understand? But we don't have the concept of array. Yeah, I'll clarify these things. Just try to understand. In the second case, the string first assigned into the memory, then the base address is returned. In the first case, the memory has been created, then the characters are filled. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, a double quotes will be there, in the second case.
Maybe there is a typo mistake. There should be. I will make the correction. So there will be a double quote and the semicolon. That I will make the correction. Okay. Okay. So what is the difference between the two? The difference is that the first case, you cannot reassign the array location. Array address cannot be reassigned. So once array is declared, once array is declared, so name1, it is always pointing, it is a constant allocation. It is always pointing to a particular area into the memory. Here, understand? So you can process January. You can process this string. You can change the January to February, but this array address cannot be reassigned. It is always pointing to this base address, and always it will have the starting point as this location. Now you can change this January to a February or January to something else, but you cannot change the base address of this of this main1. Okay. On the other hand, in the second case, what is happening? It is in the another part. You cannot change the you cannot process the string. So it is now constant. So we are not able to process the string, but I can reassign the address. So now str is pointing here. Now, as this is a pointer as a variable, I can reassign these things to something here or to somewhere else. Okay. But I cannot update the content in this cell. They are constant. Understand? So we call the second thing is that the string is constant. The first one is that the base address is constant. Okay.
Sir, one question, sir. Here
Yes.
str is storing the address and pointer name2 is also storing the address.
Oh, acha. So I am getting confused. So let it be name2, and this is also name2. Name2. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So the means I am repeating the part. The first point says that the first point means left hand side says that as I have declared these things as an array, so the variable name cannot be changed. The variable name is always pointing to a particular location. Understand? But the content in the array can be changed. So the string can be processed. The string can be updated. In the second case, the string cannot be updated. Compiler makes the string as a constant, but the pointer, this character pointer, they can be reassigned. Okay? So the second case, the string being constant, the pointer or the base address can be reassigned to different address. Okay? So the first case it says that the address is constant. The second case says that the string is constant. I cannot update the string. Okay, understand? But both of them having the declaration of a string. The main concept of declaring a string is that I have to I must have a variable where I can hold the address. It can be either an array, it can be either a pointer. Okay, understand?
Sir, in the second case, can I change the name2 as name3?
You can reassign these things. Say name2 can be reassigned to name3. That means I am reassigning these things to some another string. Understand? But simply I have a simply like this. Say I have an character array. Sorry, character. Okay. Name 10. Say this is my name. Here, and I have a character pointer name2, which is say Divas. Okay. Now, which is possible? Name2, name1, or name1, name2. Yes.
Sir, name one, name two.
Sir, first one.
Second one is not possible because this is I cannot update. So the first one says that I have an array. Second, the first declaration says that I have an array, which is name1. Okay. And here we have join. And second thing says that I have a pointer, name2. It is a pointer, and it points, say there. Okay. So pointer can be reassigned. So this pointer can be reassigned. I can change this pointer to the base address. Okay. This can be possible. But this cannot be possible. So I cannot change these things to name2. Understand? Okay.
Yes, sir, it is clear now.
Oh, and another thing. So now this is possible. Name one is say CSE. This is possible because these contents are not constant. But name two is CSE. This is not possible. Clear? So this is constant. So I cannot reassign the part. Okay, so that part is not possible. This one is possible. Whereas this is true. This one is false. Okay. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So now we have already most of the things we have done. So now there are some programming concepts. The programming says that let me get it to. Okay. So the thing says that string is not a data type, that we already understand. So we don't have any defined operation. I cannot make a say comparison. Say string 1 is greater than string 2. That operation greater than less than operation is not applicable. Clear? So what we can do, we can update the string, we can process the string indifferently. So in my first example, I want to update the string. I want to process the string. So I declare the string as an array. So what is our intention? I have a string which contains some uppercase and the lower. Now I want to write a program such that it will contain the same string but all in uppercase. So January will be having all the alphabets as an uppercase. Understand? So first I declared character month as a size of 10, and this is assigned with a string. Okay. Then I make a loop. The loop goes up to, it counts, means it loops from I equals to, this should be a 0. I think there is a mistake. I equals to
No,
0.
sir, it is 1 only because, sir, January J is capital only, no? We
Oh,
want
okay. Good. Whatever. January is capital, so I skip the first. I start with the second one, and I am searching that is the current cell containing null or not. If the current set is not containing the null, I am updating the alphabet by its uppercase. Okay, and changing the alphabet by its uppercase is basically we take the difference between the lowercase and the uppercase, and that is subtracted from the part. Okay. Understand? So this statement, do you understand this statement?
Yes, sir, but one doubt is there, sir.
Yes, tell me.
Sir, here, if the conversion is taking place, then sir 97 minus 65, so that is an integer thing. So integer has a higher precedence than character, so it will be converted to character, no?
No, this is a simple addition. Their character addition is also possible. It does not change it into integer. Understand? Like addition of character, addition of integer, addition of floats, they performs in the data type of the character itself. Means they perform on the same data type. Do you get this point? Means if I
Yes, sir.
So this thing says that the addition operation is applicable on character, integer, float. So if both the types are characters, A plus B, then it does not change the things into integer. It does not change their types in the integers. They will remain in the same data type character, because plus is applicable on those data. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, I thought that was integer, so whole thing will be converted.
Okay. No. All things are characters. Yes.
Sir, in here, like we are updating month, like I to a new value. Sir, can we do this? Like you said that the string cannot be updated in the.
No, string cannot be updated when it is assigned to a pointer. I can update because it is assigned to an array. Okay.
Okay.
So array, the address is constant, the string is updatable. When we assign to its pointer, the string remains constant. The pointer can be updated. Okay, so we declare these things as a array, so I can update the alphabets. Okay, so this statement, however, this statement basically change the lowercase to the uppercase, and we iterate the process by taking I equals to I plus plus. Okay. So finally, we have to print the string. The printing of the string is basically by a delimiter, which is called the percentage of s. The percentage of s takes the base address of the string and it prints the string. It prints the characters until it finds a null. So that is the function of the percentage of s. It basically takes the base address of a particular string, and it displays the string on the monitor. Okay. Get it?
Yes, sir.
Now there is two interesting things, or there is two things that you must note. That there are two notations. One is the double quote, and another is the single quote. So there are three things that we keep in mind, or we always try to understand that whenever we have a variable. So this is a declaration of a variable. Okay. So alphabet is without anything in C. This is basically the variable. So if we have a single quote A, that means we are referring the ASCII value of the symbol. Okay. Understand? If we put the things in a double quote, then we are basically specifying a string like something like this, A, and there is a null. Okay. So anything appears without any quotation, it is basically a variable. The alphabet which appears with a single quote refers to the ASCII value of that alphabet. The alphabet or the sequence of alphabet which appears within a double quote is basically a declaration of a string. Okay, understand? So this one is the declaration of a string, whereas single quote, this is null. They are basically the declaration of the ASCII value of the symbols. So this is the ASCII value of the null. This is the ASCII value of the A. This is the ASCII value of the capital A. Understand? Get it? Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, so this is one example where we are basically updating the string. In my second example, where we do not update the string. Yeah. So in this example, what it says that I have a email address, and I want to identify that what is the domain of this email address. Is it a Gmail, or it is a NIT-DGP, or it is Yahoo, something like this. So I am not, in my program, I do not process the string. I just keep on searching, find a particular alphabet at the rate, and then we decide that the following sequence of characters are basically the domain of the email address. Understand? Clear? Do you get this point? So this email ID, I have to search that where the @ appears, and once we get the symbol of @, then the following is basically the domain of this email ID. Okay. Get it? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this program is simple. I just instead of declaring a character array, I declare these things as a character pointer, because I will never update the string. I have only search on the string, and then I assign a str variable which is pointing to the base address of this email ID. Okay, and then I update the pointer. So it works something like this. So say there is a email where I have, say, X, Y, Z, then @, then there is a G, or something, whatever, but we have a null. So email is pointing here. So I use another pointer str, which assigns to the base address, and now I am updating the pointer one by one and looking for a @. Okay. Get it? So
Yes.
pointer can be moved, but string cannot be processed. So previously the address cannot be moved, the string can be processed. Okay. So this says that I am looking, str is pointing to the base address. So I am looking whether str is equals to the @ or not. If it is not, I update the star address as a star. I update the str by 1. So this is basically moving the str from left to right until we find the @. And once we find the @ in this position, I again increment the str by 1, and it is now pointing a string which determines the domain of this email ID. Okay. So the last str plus 1 is basically move the pointer from the @ to the next alphabet, and then str is now pointing to a string which is determining the domain of this email ID. Okay, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So these are the two examples, and why we cite these two examples to make clear that how can we declare the strings and how they are processed. And the part 2, what it says. So there is a most important part in the string is that what is the string length. So string length is not included in the declaration of the string. So if you want to find that what is the length of the string, then you have to process the string to get the length of the string. So the length of the string is basically n minus 1 or n, when we have n plus 1 number of character to define the string. So what character is extra? Because the null is the null element, null at the end is also included in the string. It is not discarded from the string, because null is the delimiter which specifies the string. Okay. So if the string is of if we have a string of say 5 characters, then in your memory it will be stored with 6 characters, because there is a null character at the termination of this part.
Sir, sir, if we declare the string with a pointer also, sir, there
Yes.
also null character will be stored in the array.
Yes. There it is also null character will be stored. Means when we declare this within a code, means like as we say, the double quote A, the compiler itself puts a null at the end of this part. Okay. So when we declare something as a double quote, then compiler adds a extra null at the end of this sequence. Okay. Okay. So there is a function. Though we have not learned about the functions, but just to say that in the C programming language there are some libraries. So this library provides you some facilities to work on with data. Like if we want to compute the square root, so instead of writing a square root program, you can use some already available code, which is called the square root, which computes the square root. Clear? Similarly, for the string, there are some already available codes which are already available in the C programming environment. So you can use those code as a function and can perform some string operation. So string strlen, it basically returns the length of the string. So if there are 5 alphabets in the string, then it will return the length as a 5. Okay. So we'll take care about this part when we learned about the function. Okay. And then the specifier. The specifier says that to read a string, so whatever we have done so far, I have declared the string as a constant. So these are the declaration of the string as a constant. But sometimes you have to read the string from the inputs. Like you have you have the name. So I declared a name and I have to input the name. So it sometimes it may be Joydeep, it may be Devashish or something like this. Like as we declare a variable, then we take the we declare a variable as an integer. Then we take the integer value from the keyboard. So how can I do these things? So this is the scanf with a delimiter of %s and the base address, means from where we want to store the string. So this base address and the delimiter of /s, that will read a string from the keyboard. Okay? But this %s has some limitation. The limitation says that if your string contains some white space, like my name is Joydeep followed by Havladar, so there is a white space between the two names, first name and the second string. So if there are any white space like in new line or blank or the tab, so it will only consider the first term. So any white space in the keyboard, if you enter into the keyboard, that terminates the scanning of the string. Understand? You get this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this example will give you the meaning of these things. So let we have have declared a name as a 20 alphabets, a 20 array, size 20 array, and now I have a scanner, the base address. So I want to scan some string from the input, and I want to display the string on the output. So if we run the program, then it runs. It prints enter your name and wait for the inputs. And if you write your input something like this, where is a blank space or where is a white space is appearing between Dennis, Richard, then scanf only reads the Dennis. It will discard all the things which is followed by this white space. So it terminates the reading by this white space. Understand? So in the memory name, it only hits Dennis, and rest of these things is not appearing in the name. Understand? So in a nutshell, it says that scanf does not consider any white space in your string. Okay. So then what we can do, we can use another function which is called the getS and the putS. So get string, the meaning of these things is get string. Instead of scanf, I can use get string and put string. The put string is the displaying the string on the monitor. Get string is basically reading the string from the keyboard. Okay. So get string is basically a function that takes a base address and reads the string on the base address. With the meaning of these things is that it can read the line containing white space like blank, tab, etc. But whenever we put a new line character, means whenever we enter a new line, then it terminates the strings, and all these things is accumulated in the base address. Okay. So it shows something like this. We have a month, month of there are 100 characters. Then instead of using a scanf, I use the getS month. So this is the base address where I want to store the string, and then I display these things over the monitor. So there is a putf, there is a print, and then there is a putS. So now my input is January blank space, February blank space, March blank space, April, and then I put a new line. Now it will consider the whole sentence as an input until it finds a new line. So my month array now contains January, there is a blank space, February, etc., etc., and the putS also displayed in that way. Understand? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So careful when you are using a scanf. So you must be careful that your input should not contain any white space. Okay.
Sir, সেই প্রোগ্রামটা বুঝলাম না, স্ক্যানএফই নেই কিন্তু নিয়ে নিল।
GetS, this is a get function. The get function is basically, there are two types of get function. You can use a get character, GTCH, that will read a single character. Understand? This is a get string. It will read a string in a base address. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So these are some function which are already available in the stdio in standard input output library. In this library, these functions are available. Okay. So sometimes you can use this function, say get char something c. C is a character. Okay. So this what it does, it reads a single character from the keyboard. So get character. So it reads a single character from the keyboard and assign it to a variable c. Similarly, if I have character, say name array 10, then get s means getting a string and the base address name. So it will read a string in the base address name. Okay. Understand?
Okay, sir.
But the difference is that when we use scanf, it does not contain any white space. When we use a get s, then it can accumulate the white space apart from the new line. Okay.
So enter no आ जाए.
Now enter is the new line. Enter is the termination of the get s. Get s terminates whenever we put a enter. All the alphabets you can put into the get s. Understand?
Okay, sir.
Okay. And there are so these are the strings, means what we have already uses the string. So the declaration is that when we are using printf, what we are doing, we are putting an argument. So what is this argument? This argument is basically a string. So you already practice this. You already practice that a string is within a double quote, but without knowing the meaning of these things, you have practiced that part. Yeah. Similarly, so we say that printf, this function, it takes a constant argument as a string. So printf function always takes an argument as a string, and this is basically a constant string. So whenever we put something within a double quote, that takes a constant string. Understand? Printf s name. So this is basically a string with a variable. So I am having a string in my base address name, and I want to print these things using this specifier /s. Okay. So this name can be a character array, or it may be a pointer to a character. Okay. So there are some special delimitations. The special delimitation says that there is a %10s. The meaning is that I'm just showing the output. So in this case, I have reserved 12 position for my string. Understand? And then I read a string with a January. So January is only having 8 characters, but I have reserved 12 characters for my string. Okay. Now the specifier which prints the string on the display, we can make it either a left align or the right align. So if we write these things as a %12s, that means I want to fit my output in a position of 12 characters, and it is a right. It is basically a left align. The first one is called the right align. Sorry, it is a right align. Okay. So I have specified 12 characters. So I have specified 12 positions. So starting from this up to that point, there are 12 positions are reserved, and percentage of 12s means I am printing the string as a right alignment. Percentage of -12s is I am printing the string as a left alignment. So in this way, I can write, I can display the strings by reserving some number of positions in my display and moving the string either in the left or the right alignment. Understand? Get it?
Sir, if we instead of 12 like put 10, which is less than the length of the month, then
Then this is not meaningful with the size. It is only applicable on the printing. Understand? So you can use 12, 30, or whatever the parts, 10. They will be reserved for only for the displaying of the string. So this 12 and this 12 may be different. Understand? So this is the size of the array, and this is a different concept. So how many positions we are preserving for displaying the string? Okay. You can use any number of 10, 12, 30. No problem.
Okay, sir, understood.
Okay, and okay, these problems will take care in my sessional classes. But the thing is that there are some common operations, very common operations, which are always required when you write a program using strings. The first operation is the copy string. The copy string means there is a string in a variable, and I want to copy the same string in a different variable. So this is sometimes called a copy string. Okay. Then string concatenation. Say there are two strings having two different addresses, and I want to concatenate the second string at the end of the first. So that is string concatenation. Then string comparison. String comparison is very much useful. We want to compare the two string like a lexicographic comparison, in the sense that in a database there are some names, and I want to search that whether a particular name is appearing in the database. Understand? So
like dictionary thing.
dictionary things, or maybe different way we can compare that part. So the comparison is sometimes called these things as a lexicographic comparison. Understand? So we'll take care about this implementation in the laboratory classes, and that is, I think, end of this stream. Okay. So what we understand that string is basically continuous sequence of alphabets, and they terminates with a null character. The identification of the how can we represent the string is basically an address. The address points to a location where the string starts, and it terminates where the null character appears. Okay. Then there are two types of declaration. It can be declared using an array. It can be declared using a pointer, but they are having different implications. Okay. So when you declare as an array, then the base address cannot be changed, but the string can be modified. When they are declared as a pointer, then the string remains constant, but the base address can be changed. Okay. Then we have to design our logic. How can we program the strings? That is up to the programmer. How can they program the strings? Okay. Any question?
Sir, in that percentage 12 is that one? Like I'm not understanding. Can you please repeat that portion? Like
Repeat that portion. Say if we don't write anything, like if we let me run this. Control C. So if we execute, so I put a name. So now you find that first this, okay, leave this. So I am putting a string NIT BTP. Okay. So how these things appear? If we go to the program, so it reads the NIT DGP in the line number 6, and then in the line number 8, it first prints the month is. That comes the month is. Then there is a blank space. This is the blank space. So it prints the blank space, and then display of the string is present. Understand? Clear?
Yes, sir.
So now if we want to write say 10, that means in this output, I will preserve 10 positions starting from M. I will preserve 10 positions for displaying the displaying the string. Then there are two ways. Either the string will be aligned to its left alignment, or the string will be aligned at the right alignment. Understand? That things will be more clear if we write something at the end. Say this. The month is NIT DGP for today. Okay. Now, if we run the program, how it looks like. Say, it says that say there are 10 positions are reserved. Here, so previously the NIT DGP is appearing after is. Now the 10 position is reserved, and the string is appearing at the right alignment. Understand? Do you get this point?
Okay, sir.
And if you change it to a minus, then it works in a different way. So now, instead of the string appears to its right, it now goes to the left, but 10 position is reserved for the displaying of the string. Okay.
Like suppose if we like put instead of 10 like suppose 4, then like it will print normally, right?
No, but 4, I think there will be some truncation. GP will not be there. So keep it more than 6 characters. We have something more than 6 characters. So it will be useful if we keep more than 6 characters. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So this thing is very much useful if we want to display some what is accounting statement. Say the figures, amounts are basically right aligned. Understand? So if we amounts are say 10-digit amount, 2-digit amount, 3-digit amounts. So if you align these things as a right alignment, then it will be easy to interpret. Clear? Understand? Like it is so. In this one, say the rice, the price is something like this. Say water, the price is 50. So there, this one is right alignment. This one is left alignment. Okay. Say maybe something is 2570 or 3, something like this. Then 103. So they are right aligned, they are left aligned. So how we can use some technique or some way to handle how can I print the element in this. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sir, but one thing, sir, here when I'm running, sir, like there is no visible difference. Like in your case, there are some spaces, but when I'm running a test program, like it's not showing. Like there is no visible difference.
Visible difference.
Like
But it
will
should.
it,
But let me stop.